We are running a series of episodes on Enterprise Architecture Radio where we are talking about enterprise architecture and power, authority, and influence. In the first episode, I talked about why we should focus more on power and authority. In the second episode, I presented the Jeffrey Pfeffer's 7 rules of power. And I talked about how to gather power and how to become an influential person. Today, I want to give you a couple of examples of how to use power and conclude, right? And hear your thoughts also. Okay, so let's start with a couple of examples. And I've seen this happen in my career as well, but I'm going to not give you any real examples. I'm going to talk about fictitious examples only. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of scenarios. Let's say that your organization has decided, or somebody within your organization has decided to acquire a SaaS tool. Now, you as an enterprise architect are already aware that this is duplicate technology. You know, that particular capability of that particular SaaS tool already exists within the organization. So what will you do? Now, this is a very simple example, and this has been done for many, many years. It's not something new, right? But still, we see organizations with what you call mushrooming of technologies, mushrooming of SaaS applications. Each SaaS application slightly different from the other. And still, we pay up tons of money in licenses, and license cost is the least of our troubles. Managing these SaaS applications, managing the interactions between these applications is a completely different operational nightmare that the organization has to spend on. So, the enterprise architecture team, I'm assuming, has already a framework to perform governance on all the SaaS tools that are coming in, right? If not, then that should be there in place. But even if it is not there, keep an eye on these tools that are coming in. Work with the procurement team, and that is networking. Work with the procurement team to inform you about any new SaaS tools that are coming, because any new SaaS tools have to come through procurement. Of course, I have seen examples where people have used their corporate credit card to swipe for licensing costs, and then eventually, horrible situation. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is work with the procurement team. Keep an eye on all the SaaS tools that are coming in, study them, look at what is available and then speak clearly to the stakeholders. Talk to them about the benefits of using an existing application. Talk to them about, and if there are some features missing, then again, work with the existing tool vendors and talk to them about enhancing their capabilities, and talk about how much extra cost would be involved and so on. And in all probability, the cost of those enhancements, those customizations would be much less than onboarding a new SaaS tool. So speak with authority. Speak up early. When you realize that something like this is happening, before the decisions are taken, talk to the stakeholders, talk to the leadership, talk to everybody. Present a proper use case and use the authority of governance, if there is a governance, to stop such things. This is one example of how to use power to influence a strategic decision. Another example could be, let's say that you see potential in driving a transformation. Let's say that you want to modernize a group of applications. Anybody who's working in an organization in any capacity in IT, from time to time would see applications degrading. And if you're an enterprise architect, then you will definitely see this. You will see legacy applications. You see something like using USB drives for licensing. You will see old technologies that are very difficult to manage, that cannot be virtualized, that require physical hardware for hosting. You will see old applications that are not, for example, designed for the cloud, and so on and so forth. So, if you are an enterprise architect, you are thinking about transformation, you're thinking about modernization of applications already. So, use your power to do this. First thing that you need to do in such a scenario, and this is what I think, obviously I am not the know-all, and that's why I always say that this is a collaboration platform, talk to me. But I feel you need to build a brand around the transformation. I'm not talking about your brand that I talked about in the previous episode. I'm talking about brand of the program. Let's say that you come up with a plan, a program that will transform and modernize applications within your landscape. It will take a look at the footprint, look at all the outdated legacy applications and modernize them. Build a program, but build a brand around the program. Sell it all over the place. Talk about it, speak about it, write about it, market it. That brand should be recognized by our stakeholders. Build alliances. Obviously, if these are legacy applications and there are people who are having trouble with it, there would be users who think the application is too slow, for example. There would be operations teams who would be having trouble maintaining these applications from time to time. There would be stakeholders who are sick and tired of these applications. Talk to them. Build alliances around how about, why are you not modernizing the application? Is the cost a factor? Is time a factor? Is resources a factor? What are your challenges? Talk to them. Build alliances. Try to see how you can get them what they need. Like, for example, if they need money, then you could work with, let's say, new application vendors, first of all, to see how cost can be controlled. You could work with hosting providers who can give you certain credits that you can use to modernize the application. There are various possible programs which are publicly available. So, for example, AWS has a MAP program, Migration Acceleration Program, or it has a modernization program where they would fund the modernization of applications within your organization. As long as you host them on AWS, obviously, right? So there are such things. So you talk to people and try to balance your priorities, try to see how you can arrange for things that are needed to get this modernization done. And then pick up a small group of applications that are easy to modernize and then modernize them and sell the wins. Once you have like 5 or 6 applications that you've modernized, what are the benefits that you have of that modernization? Talk about them, write about them, sell them to the rest of the stakeholders, to the leadership who are decision makers, and build your brand from there. So as you use your power of influencing people, you get more powerful, because once a few people get influenced, you can showcase these wins to the rest of the people, and then they get influenced, and so on and so forth. And then the next use case is not really a use case. I wanted to talk about it a little bit more, which is influence without authority. Now, like I said before, we are trying to get authority. But there will come a time in our careers where we are in a stage where we do not have authority. We still do not have authority. We are enterprise architects. An enterprise architect, as a title and a designation, is a role in which you do not have decision-making power or authority. It is a consulting role. That doesn't mean you don't have management responsibilities, because there is head of enterprise architect who runs the entire enterprise architecture capability. He's got enterprise architects reporting into them, technology architects, data architects, and so on. And I'm not saying that enterprise architects are all individual contributors. That's not what I mean. What I mean to say is the strategic decisions that they can potentially take, they do not. They usually are in a consulting role. They gather the information that they need to take a certain decision, and then they present it to the leadership team, and they take the decision because they hold all the power. So here, when you're doing leadership without authority, you again can use power and influence, right? First of all, break the rules. Like I said before, run a POC. Don't just go and ask for permission. Run a POC, do some work, gather the data, present the data. That's how you go about it. Don't stick to the rules all the time. Assume in your head that you have the power to make the decision, and make the decision, and then go and present it. And many of the times you'll see that you don't read. Power lies in the heads. There's a beautiful, it reminds me of, there's a beautiful scene in the TV show, the Game of Thrones, in which I don't even remember the names of the people, but there's a story that there is a king, there's a priest, and there is a rich man. There's a king, a priest, and a rich man at a bar drinking, right? And a sellsword walks in. Now all the three ask the sellsword to kill the other two. only one must survive. So the priest says, kill these two. The king says, kill these two. The rich man says, kill these two. Who lives and who dies? Right? So if you haven't seen the scene, then you should. It's available on YouTube. So he says that power lies in the heads of people, right? The king believes that he is the king. So he says that the king lives because he is the king, right? But why is he the king? Because he believes that he is the king because people believe that he is the king. There's no... We usually end up giving power to people. If you assume that you hold the power, if you assume that you have the authority, doesn't mean that you will actually get the title of a CEO if you assume that you are a CEO, but quite a lot of leeway comes along if you believe in your head that you have the leeway. You have to be careful with this because every once in a while you might get a slap on the wrist, and that's the cost of such assumptions. But majority of the times I have seen that you can get away with a lot of stuff that you don't usually think that you can, right? You can take liberties. You can do the work and then go and demonstrate it and show them the value and the benefit. And majority of the times if the leadership sees value and benefit, they'll not mind. They'll actually appreciate it. So power is viewed as a negative trait in people. It is viewed as dominion, as dictatorship, but that's not power. Power is stewardship. It's the ability to protect the long-term interests of the organization, the ability to protect your team, the ability to, and I want to stress upon this a little bit, that leadership has two-way roles. One is to protect the people, to guide the people, to grow their careers, to, take care of them. But that's not the only role, right? The leader also has to deliver. The leader also has an upward view where he needs to understand his leader's point of view, vision, and organizational roadmap and vision, and then take decisions in such a way that the team is able to deliver on those priorities. So, power, authority, and influence. Very important for enterprise architects, very important. In fact, I would say that enterprise architecture is a tool that you can use to eventually get to a position of power so that you can do good for a lot of people. And one last thought, if you deserve the power because you're good and you don't take it, then somebody else will. And they may not deserve it. And that's just bad for everybody. So if you're good, then it becomes your responsibility to hold power so that you can do good. I hope you're enjoying the videos that I'm publishing on Enterprise Architecture Radio. If you are, then please let YouTube know. Like, share and subscribe and comment and tell me how you like these videos. If you like these videos, you don't like these videos, you think I'm too opinionated or my opinions are not very good. I mean, if you don't agree with them, let me know, challenge me, get some conversations going. We are on LinkedIn, we are on WhatsApp now, we are on Telegram. Just look for Enterprise Architecture Radio and you'll find a group of intellectuals who are quiet most of the times, don't talk much. If you think that you can talk, then get some conversations going. And because this is a collaboration platform and I'm trying to get together a group of intellectuals who can, who enjoy talking about these things, who can learn from each other, guide each other, but most importantly, have a ton of fun.